Hello, everybody. My name is Mo Abudu. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the EbonyLife Group. That includes EbonyLife Place, this beautiful place here, the Creative Academy, and of course, EbonyLife Media. And this is the power issue of Marie Claire, and I'm excited to be the cover for the power issue of Marie Claire, Nigeria. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to do this special edition. Because for me, each time I share my story because I think it's important for everyone to understand that if you can think it, you really can do it. And I've always said to everyone, if your dreams don't scare you, the dreams aren't big enough. Don't start small, start big, and then see where you end up. So with regards to my story and my life, in my formative years, I was born in England. I think that was a bit of an eye-opener in that even as far back, I turned 60 this year. So racism isn't new. People like me have had to deal with racism for the better part of their lives. I was born in England. I came back to Nigeria when I was 7 with my mom and my younger sister. And then my mom then said to me, in those days, it wasn't just my mom, a lot of parents sent their children to live with their grandparents. And my grandparents lived in a town called Undo. That for me was a very formative part of my life. And my grandmother, they always say that when you're brought up by older people, they have so much wisdom to share with you. And my grandmother used to tell me the most incredible stories about so many different things. So I think for me, spending time with my grandparents was an adventure. I'd call it an adventure. But then I lost my father at age 11. We then had to go back to England. And I would say that's when my eyes were really opened to what it is to be a Black person living in a country that's predominantly white. When I turned 16, Tunbridge Wells was the place where I went to school. And people talk about experiencing racism. That's when I realized that I had to really fight for who I was as a person, as a young Black girl. And I think that's kind of framed my personality to a certain extent, that as a Black woman in this world, as an African woman in this world, I've said you have to work 3 times harder. There's going to be gender disparity. There's going to be disparity against the fact that you're a Black woman. There's going to be disparity against the fact that you're an African woman. And in some instances, because you are a Nigerian. I actually wanted to be a model and a dancer. And of course, my mom wanted to have a double fit. Because this isn't what she wanted for her first daughter to be. Now, I would say that the reason probably why I started to have those ideas around dance, even more so than modeling, was that when I turned 16, the very first TV show that came out on television in that time and day that represented and showed Black people doing positive things was a show called Fame. You guys may not know the show called Fame, but it was a beautiful, American TV series about this New York Dance Academy, and it had all these Black, students that were dancing, and I was like, oh my God, this was awesome. And that tells you how powerful media is. So when we expose young people to media, it's what they consume, it's what they see that they sometimes want to emulate or they find inspiration from. So I think my inspiration pretty much came from that era. I did a little bit of modeling, but not a lot of it, simply because I realized very early on that wasn't really my true calling. And I think it's important to understand in life what your purpose is. And I think very early on I understood that, it was nice to sort of get my feet wet, but it really wasn't what I really wanted to do long term. And I went back and I studied and I became this HR professional, did HR recruitment, came back to Nigeria, worked at ExxonMobil as head of HR and admin. And as you know, nearly a decade later, I decided that it wasn't for me. And then I decided I was going to leave my job, and then I resigned. And everybody thought I was crazy. You don't work in an oil and gas company in Nigeria and quit. It's a job for life. But then I decided I wanted to become an entrepreneur and really live my dreams. So yeah, I went on this journey of resigning and being very afraid of what steps am I going to take next, I then decided that I wanted to move into this media space. Never done it before. Started with Moments with Mo. Sent myself on a course learning how to be a TV presenter. I did Moments with Mo for like 10 years, and the Moments with Mo became Moments with, as you know, Bodaniola Kuni, Dolapo, Tokemakinwa, Talula, so what I was happy about was being able to birth a brand that now rebirthed itself and gave an opportunity to so many, many more people. I think that's what it's about at the end of the day. And then obviously from Moments with Mo, I then decided that I wanted to launch a TV channel. It's a long story, but we ended up in a place called Calabar, Studio Tinapa, moved 100 and 150 people into Calabar. We lived in Calabar for 3 years. It was an incredible experience. And at times, it's going to be that you are going to move out of your comfort zone to be able to realize that dream, to be able to realize whatever that purpose is. And I know that setting up EbonyLife TV was a big part of that journey for me. My first experience, the first episodes we produced ended up in the trash can. Yeah, they were that bad. Of course, I got it wrong. And I was already 40 and I got it wrong. I thought I had the best team. I thought I got it all right. I'd done my research. I'd done everything. We recorded 2 or 3 episodes. My first interview was with Professor Wole Soyinka. And I tracked him down. I wanted a really important person for my first interview. And I recorded the episode, and it was a complete mess. Let's just say the interview, I had to go back to Prof again and say, Prof, I'm so sorry. I need to redo this interview. And DSTV said to me, sorry, if this is what you're going to do, it's not going to work. So we had to go back to the drawing board, re-look at everything again, and then start all over again. And when we started all over again, we got it right. Moments with Mo, but that's how we started. That's how we started Moments with Mo. Yeah. I would always be grateful to His Excellency, Governor Muoka, for giving us the opportunity to partner with Cross River State Government, moved into Calabar. I mean, I'd never lived out of Lagos my entire life, so moving there was, but it was lovely. I mean, I really had a great time, and everybody was so welcoming to all of us. 3 years later, we moved back to Lagos because it became logistically very difficult to work in Calabar, simply because it's one flight a day, you've got people coming in to shoot. It just wasn't convenient. It became very expensive. So we ended up back in Lagos, in Ukpebor. Again, we took over an entire warehouse and turned it into our studios. And then the wake-up call came that linear TV was really not going to be the way to go anymore. But prior to me even deciding that linear TV wasn't going to be the way to go, I'd started reaching out to lots of organizations around the world, international studios. I've always, as I said, think big. If you don't think big, you're not going to have big ideas, and you're not going to have big, relationships and build those contacts. So I started reaching out to the Sonys of this world. As you know, we have all these international co-productions now with Sony, of course with Netflix, Stars, Lionsgate, the BBC, Will Packer, Will Smith, Idris Elba. Over the years, these relationships have grown simply because you have to be able to move out of your place of comfort and reach out to these organizations and to these individuals. And sometimes for the fear of rejection, we don't do that. But all they can do is say no. What's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing is they can say, thank you, but no thank you. And we do get those rejections. I've reached out to way more people than the opportunities that we have. Power. Power is an interesting word. Power means, for me, to be able to realize my dreams, but in a way and manner that it doesn't infringe on the well-being of others. So power for me means that I can think about having a clear vision about what we need to achieve, and then I take it upon myself to go into the world to be able to see how we're going to achieve that vision. And I want to be able, power means I'm able to work with a team of people that respect and appreciate me, knowing that they believe in the vision, and they are also part of the bigger dream. And their vision and their ideas are just as important as mine. Power for the sake of power is meaningless. You've got to be able to use it positively to create impact, and to live a purposeful life. There are no 2 days in our lives that are the same. We run a schedule that is mad. Even this particular shoot we're doing, we had to move it to today because of something that just literally came up that I wasn't aware of, but was important that we have to do tomorrow. So my day today is, I wake up in the morning, I work a lot from home because it's my sanctuary and I find it's where I get most of my work done. But I'm constantly in meetings when I'm at home, either Zoom meetings or I'm here for meetings. I've got my team that I work with. We're brainstorming different ideas about different shows. I have so many I do lots of advocacy work, as well as EbonyLife Media work, as well as EbonyLife Creative Academy, as well as EbonyLife Place. And they all have different teams that make things work. So there are never any 2 days that are the same, yeah. Well, let's just say my mom is my prayer warrior. When I have a major problem, I call my mom. I say, Mommy, my mom lives in the Redeem Camp. Mommy, prayer time now. Prayer is one of the things, yeah. Second, I actually do like obstacles because obstacles make me think. They help me think about bigger solutions. So, and I know that whenever God is throwing me one of those curveballs, I know it's because he's taking me somewhere. So I actually I get excited. I know it sounds crazy. I actually get excited when obstacles come because I know that it's because God is about to add some ginger somehow to what's going on around me. I keep saying there are 2 types of people in this life. They're your dream makers and they're your dream killers, right? And they're both just as important as each other. You're going to meet people that are going to try and bury your dreams. But you know how, that idea, I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to work. You've never done this thing before now. Have you thought about, so take all that information, sit back, absorb it, right? And you can actually find that your dream makers, dream killers, are actually helping you go back to the drawing board to relook at those situations. So accept the dream makers in your life, also accept the dream killers in your life because you find that they're both useful. That's what I found in my own 60 years on this earth. I need them both. Hello everybody, my name is Mo Abudu. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the EbonyLife Group. That includes EbonyLife Place, this beautiful place here, the Creative Academy, and of course, EbonyLife Media. And this is the power issue of Marie Claire, and I'm excited to be the cover for the power issue of Marie Claire, Nigeria.